Yes, guys, and welcome back to lesson 9 of Sales Growth Academy Level 1 and the final episode for the call-in and the dial-in section, section 3. So today we're going to be focused on triage calls and pre-qualification. Now, triage calls are something that most sales reps kind of neglect. So I want to walk through exactly how you can implement this into your strategy from today and how this is just going to warm up the leads that you've booked in and just make it more likely for your calls to close. Because at the end of the day, in order for us to treat our sales role like a business owner, we need to be in full control of our income, or in as at least much control of our income as possible. And triage calls and pre-qualification just makes it easier for you to have that control back, so you're ready, and so the lead is ready, prepared for the closer. So this is more about the role of a triage call in a high ticket sales process. Now, triage calls are a step, like I said, that sales reps often neglect because they may appear as this irrelevant step to the sales process, but they're actually quite the contrary, because implementing triage calls can be what dramatically increases the show rate and ultimately the chances that deals will close. Because like I said, you want to be in control. And the main way you're in control, because you're a setter, you're not the closer just yet, meaning you can't be in control of your entire deal process. And as much as in an ideal world, that's what you want, right? You want to learn how to set, then you want to learn how to close. So you are in control of the entire deal process. The natural thing is you're not going to be there right away. So the most control you can have is to make it very, very easy for your closer to close that deal. And triage calls do that, because if they don't show up, it's not going to close, right? If they're not warm and they're not prepped, it's unlikely that it's going to close, or it's less likely that it's going to close. So anything that you can do to increase that close rate, then you should do it. And triage calls are one of those things. So when should you triage? Well, triage calls should take place in between a call being booked and the meeting actually taking place. So once you've booked them, let's say, for example, you booked in the meeting for, it's Wednesday, you booked in the meeting for Thursday, right? That triage call should take place on the Wednesday evening or the Thursday morning. Or if you booked it on the Wednesday and it's booked in for Friday, then that triage call should take place on the Thursday, right? So ideally, you want to triage your leads either the morning of the scheduled call or the day before, right? Now, why should you triage? Because triaging calls serves as a reminder for the upcoming meeting, because naturally, once you book in a call, it's likely that someone's either busy or they've got other commitments going on, and it just completely throws them off. If you're in the B2C space, they might not have access to their calendar so much, so they might not be looking for when that call is. It might slip their mind, they might completely forget. If you're B2B, something might come up. They may have another meeting that they have to attend. They may have to reschedule, but they might think, oh, well, this call wasn't that serious for me anyway, I'll just leave it, right? Some people think like that. So the triage call serves as a reminder for the upcoming meeting, but also an additional opportunity for you to pre-qualify the prospect. So this is how we need to think of it. The more touch points and the more conversations you have, the more comfortable and familiar the prospect is going to feel with your team, right? They've already engaged with you in a DM conversation or in a cold call conversation, or they've opted in and had a warm conversation with you. That's great. But then they're just going on a meeting and they're expected to buy right away, right? If it's a one call close. If they have that additional touch point in between where it's no salesy at all, like there's no outcome involved, because a cold call, the outcome is to book a meeting. The sales call, the outcome is to close. So if they have a touch point with zero outcome tied to it, just a genuine conversation, then they're more likely to feel bought in. So when they're booked and left without that follow-up, they might not show up, and it's very common that they don't. So triage calls can significantly increase your show-up rate by maintaining engagement and ensuring that they're still committed, but also it just provides that extra layer of comfortability between booking the meeting and closing. So how can you implement this into your strategy today, right? Well, firstly, you want to make sure that your offer is collecting emails and numbers of new appointments. Now, if they're a vetted offer, then they should be 100% collecting emails and numbers, right? They probably have email campaigns going out, maybe SMS campaigns, but they should 100% be collecting numbers. Now, whenever you do book a call, you need to collect their number, and the day before the meeting, you send them a text, right? You send them a text when you want to triage them. Now, once you have confirmation of their availability, then you give them a call and you triage. It's that simple. You always want to text first, because the text is asking for permission. And when you ask for permission, someone's more likely to jump on a call with you. So I'm going to walk through a strategy on how you can do this. I'm going to walk through a full triage calling strategy, so no worries. Now, if you aren't comfortable on the phone yet, let's say you're a DM setter at the moment and you feel like you're not ready to jump on cold calls, you're not ready to jump on warm calls. So triaging feels like this massively overwhelming thing. Now, the first thing I would say is start with triaging, because triaging is low touch, it's low friction, right? You're not asking for anything, you're just having a conversation. So in order to build up your confidence in jumping on a cold call or jumping on warm calls, start with triaging, because there's no outcome. It's just going to help you feel comfortable having conversations with people. But if not, that's okay, right? The role plays are there for a reason. They're there to help you improve. However, in order to treat your role like a business, you need to take action and ensure success. So here's what you can do instead. Firstly, you can either have your closer triage the lead. So you need to take action there and ensure that whoever's taking this call is giving them a call the day before. Right, the closer, it might not be part of their go-to strategy. Maybe it is, and then if that's the case, then amazing. But if it's not, you want to encourage them to do that. So you need to hold yourself accountable to hold them accountable. You need to make sure that you know when this person needs a text, and then you need to triage them. And you can be responsible for sending that text message out, and then once you get confirmation of the availability, get the closer to do the call. Right? But you need to hold them accountable in order for you to be successful. The alternative option to that is to send a voice note or video message to maintain that crucial touch point. Because regardless of all of this, that touch point is necessary. It's so essential. Right? It's so essential that they have that call between the meeting being booked and the meeting being set. If not the call, then it needs to be a voice note or a video message. They need to feel like they're comfortable engaging with your company, right? It ensures that they stay engaged and it builds confidence for the future call, right? So this is what you can do, right? This is the full triage call framework. Now, first and foremost, the text to confirm their availability and ask for permission. So you need to ask if they're available for a 5-minute chat ahead of the scheduled meeting. So this is the morning of or the day before. Hey, this is Jordan, co-founder at Sales Growth Club. Is now a good time for a quick 5-minute prep chat ahead of your call with Callum, right? That's what I would say. It would keep it super, super simple. So in your situation, be like, hey John, this is whatever your name is. I'm the head of talent at Sales Growth Club. Is now a good time for a 15-minute chat ahead of your call with Callum, right? It's super, super easy. All that's going to do is it's going to encourage a quick chat. There's no pressure at all, and it happens whenever they're free, right? So even if you say is now a good time for a quick 5-minute chat, they might respond in 2 hours time and say, oh, sorry, I didn't get that message. I'm free now though. But now you've got confirmation that you can call them right now, right? So that's the first thing you want to do. Ask for confirmation. Then the opener is simple, right? Your opener needs to encourage the prospect to speak and provide more context around why they booked in. Again, you're not here to sell them again. You're not here to upsell. You're not here to book anything else. You just want to understand them and get them to talk about their experiences. So, hey John, I checked out your answers to the booking form and I see your main goals are to lose 20 pounds. Could you tell me a little bit more about why that's important to you, right? And usually when they book calls in, there's questions that they can answer and you want to understand what those goals are, but then you want to relay it back and say, why is this important to you, right? Got you. That makes a lot of sense. I'm guessing you feel like our program or whatever that is the right vehicle for you to get there, right? Confirm your solution is there to help them. Confirm that they're on this call because you have a solution to their problem, right? And then get them to confirm that. It's what I said before about mini agreements. The more they agree with you, the more likely they are to agree with you again and again. So if you can get them to agree with you more before that call, then the closer's job is going to be a lot easier because they've already agreed with everything you've had to say, right? So you want to reaffirm that your solution will help, get them to agree with you, and you want to use a curious tone here because you are being genuinely curious. You're just trying to uncover what problems they have. Now, with the main body and the qualification section, you want to use this time to learn more about your prospect without any sales pressure. Because on the sales call, there's going to be discovery, but there's going to be discovery that leads onto a sale at the end. You can provide discovery without leading on to anything, and you can use that to make note, share that with your closer so they go into that call already knowing who this person is. It's really important that the closer knows who they're talking to before they jump on that sales call. Really important, because then they have ammo and they know how to position the call correctly. So here's what you want to find out. You want to find out what they've done in the past to try and solve their problem. You want to find out how not solving this problem has negatively impacted their life or their business, what it would mean for them if they were able to solve this problem, and how committed are they to actually solving the problem. Once you understand all of that, these are check boxes for the closer, right? Now the closer knows that they've tried something in the past to solve their problem. It didn't really work. It's impacted them negatively. They really want to solve this problem because it would mean that they're way more confident and they're 100% committed to solving this problem because it's going to change their life. That is ammo. At that point, they're already closed. The closer just needs to be a cash collector, and that's pretty much it. Now, here's a few examples of questions you can ask. What have you tried so far to overcome this hurdle? How have these challenges affected your life or your business? If you can solve this tomorrow, how would this change things for you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to finding a solution? Right? These are a few examples. You can really expand on that, but this is going to really identify and highlight what situation they're in, and it's going to add that extra layer of qualification. Now you just need confirmation. Right, so your intention for the triage was to highlight the challenges and reinforce your solution, not to sell. It's very important that you don't go into these calls trying to sell them even further. Now you just need to pass the baton on to the closer and ensure that the prospect shows up to the call. It's very simple. So how do you confirm that? It's a pleasure to catch up. I'm confident that you'll have a great call with Callum. This is in your calendar for tomorrow at 2 p.m, right? Get them to confirm when it's in their calendar, because this is going to encourage them to look into their calendar and have a look at the meeting there. Oh yeah, it is in for that time. Oh, and then you just make sure that they confirm. So make sure they confirm the date and the time, they accept the meeting. Awesome, man. Have you got a Zoom link? Have you got access to the Zoom link as well? Because they might say closer to the call, oh no, I actually couldn't see the Zoom link. I don't know what to do. They might turn up late. And then confirm that they have everything they need. So is the call in their calendar? Do they have access to the Zoom link? Are they aware of the date and the time of the call? Once they know all of that, then they're 100% more likely going to show up, right? And if they don't show up, they're a dick, right? But obviously there needs to be automations in place to ensure that they're still reminded with SMS, emails and stuff before the call. But that personal touch over a phone with a triage call makes a hell of a difference. Now, here's a few ways that you can leverage or you can structure your voice notes if you aren't comfortable enough to make the call yet. So here's what you can say. Hey John, it's Jordan here, co-founder at Sales Growth Club. I wanted to quickly leave you this message as I know you have a call locked in with Callum for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Just looking to make sure you have the Zoom link ready and the time blocked in your calendar. If you have any questions ahead of time, feel free to reach out. If not, have a great conversation with Callum and we'll speak soon. Right? Now this needs to be a video where you've got your phone in front of you, you're videoing, they can see your face and you're saying this, and it needs to be confident. It needs to not feel like it's read from a script and or a voice note, either one of them. It needs to feel authentic, natural and confident, because this extra touch point, if you haven't called them, this extra touch point is going to make the prospect feel warm about the company and it's going to make them more likely to turn up to the call. But also it's going to encourage them to actually check their calendar and check and see if they've got a Zoom link, because if you see a video or if you see a voice note, you're going to watch it. Right, it's the same thing we spoke about as sending videos and voice notes as outreach messages, right? You're going to watch it. You're 100% going to watch it. So if you watch it and then you hear, have you got a Zoom call? Have you got the calendar link? Then you're going to check if it's in your calendar and if you've got the Zoom call. And you're more likely to confirm with me because you're going to say, oh yeah, I have got the link. I have got the Zoom call. Thank you for the message, right? If you just listen to the voice note, you listen to the video and you don't respond to it, then that person's just a dick again, right? They're more likely to respond to you if you lead with these sorts of touch points. So it's important that you do it if you're not calling. Now, growth challenge for you guys is very simple. If you've already booked appointments as a setter, start implementing this strategy immediately. So if you've got an appointment and it's booked in for 2 days time, triage them. Literally, speak with a closer. Either encourage the closer to do it, you triage them, find the number, or you send a video or you send a voice note, right? do it immediately. Start this process now, because this simple step is going to increase show rates and boost your chances of closing a deal, and that means it's going to increase your chances of making money, right? And work towards actually taking those calls. For now, if you want to do voice notes or videos, that's perfectly fine, but work yourself up towards actually taking a triage call, because this is going to increase your confidence, and confidence is absolutely everything in sales. So if you have started booking calls, do it right away. And if you haven't started booking calls, the moment you do, implement this strategy. But that's everything for this session, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace, guys.